All right, everyone, welcome back into another NFL props video. Going to be touching on the top prop bets for this Sunday on both PrizePicks and Underdog. But first, let's get into a quick recap of the Saturday. So the reason why I'm doing the quick recap here is because it was perceived that we were getting some pretty big edges, specifically on PrizePicks. And that is simply because when we were looking at the props, not only did they have a good percent likelihood to hit, but when you look at Underdog was also telling us that the PrizePicks lines that we were getting were the outliers. We saw that actually on the previous day on Friday on Underdog. The exact same thing happened there as well. So the college basketball props and really just the past 3 days, we've had some pretty nice bets simply because there's been some big outliers. That is exactly what happened in college basketball. It was very nice to have the edges on paper come through and give us some paper, if you will. But no, all in all, very good day for college basketball. Very good Saturday. It felt honestly pretty good to have those perceived edges and have them hit. Now, not every slate is going to be that exact same way. Actually, this is very rare. But when it does pop up, I will let you guys know, like I did with the title, massive edge, and then whatever the props were, put it on the Discord chat as well. So all in all, very good day today, Saturday. Let's get into the prop bets for Sunday. So looking at the current cheat sheet that we have right now, I'm just showing you guys the best prop bets that we currently have right now. And it is kind of a limited board for a typical NFL Sunday. Typically speaking, it's very loaded with good prop bets. Right now, it's actually, you can see, guys, we have maybe what, like 10 really good bets here that are 54% likelihood or better to hit. All in all, this one that's like a tackles and assist prop, I'm fine with that. Tyler Scott, I actually don't mind for over 1.5 receptions, but we can see very limited board. And the thing that I like about it, though, at least, is that we are getting the same mess for the board as well. So like Kyle Pitts over fantasy score, like that. Drake London over fantasy score, I like that. Let's touch on both of those. So Drake London definitely gets a more difficult matchup in this one, going against the Saints. Chicago apparently is a tough matchup though as well. Indy, you know, not the best matchup. Carolina, not the best matchup. So it does make sense why lately he has been struggling. But all in all, the data seems to really like his over. I mean, he had 10 targets in the last game. I would say if he gets that again, yeah, he should be able to get this over like he had in that game. And so all in all, not a terrible prop line. Let's go ahead and take a peek. What did he do against, did he sit out the last game against the Saints? Okay, no, here we go. 14 points against the Saints, and that was without a touchdown. So seemingly not a terrible prop bet. And then we also got to take a peek at Kyle Pitts, who for some reason is popping up as the best bet again this week. And I say again because it seems like over the past like half of the season, he's been popping up as a very good prop bet and has rewarded us those weeks that he was. So this is another one where he's popping up as a good prop bet. We can see this is a much better matchup for Kyle Pitts than it is for Drake London. So maybe give the favor to him. But all in all, we can see in the last matchup against the Saints, he didn't do that much. You know, 2 targets, 2 receptions, 22 yards. Now, what I want to take a peek at is actually going to be the snaps here. So Drake London played 80% snaps like he normally has. We can bank on that. Kyle Pitt has been playing more snaps, don't get me wrong, but still only about 76% of the snaps. So there might be some slight caution there. On all though, you know, best bet on the board. I'm kind of fine at 7 for a fantasy score. If you guys want to bet that over, by all means, go for it. And then from there, we got 2 for Seattle that are popping up as good under bets. And I first want to take a peek at the snaps for them. And so I don't know, guys. I don't get the hype behind Zach Charbonnet there, who got 57% of the work in that game. I personally don't think he's all that good. I shouldn't say that. He is good. He is good. I think Kenneth Walker is just a much better talent. To me, it's like a must-win situation. Go out and give Kenneth Walker as much work as he can handle. Okay, you have a backup running back in there in case he gets injured. Like all in all, I think that'd be the way to go. And all in all, this matchup with Arizona is one that does present a very good matchup for Kenneth Walker. And so I think that's why the line is that high for Charm there, where 8.5. We take a peek at his game log, like just not getting that much work except for in the passing game occasionally. This is not a game in which they should have to be throwing the football. They should be running with the lead. And thus, I think we're going to see more of Kenneth Walker handling a majority of the snaps like he had been doing up until last week. You know, they're playing from behind a little bit more in that game. And so kind of use the pass catching back a little bit more, which maybe it's not more of the pass catching down back. He's more of the better blocker between the two. Again, I don't see that happening in this game. And then Noah Fant as well. He played his least amount of snaps in that game. And I think that's just because they couldn't commit to the run. They actually had Cody Parkinson in there a little bit more, which a little bit shocking, 57% of the snaps. But if that's a trend that continues again, Noah Fant would obviously struggle to get his over fantasy score. And so this is one where I think, get behind that. Now, in his last game, 6 targets, 5 receptions, 59 yards. He has actually been pretty good in the passing game lately. But for some reason, the sportsbooks are saying, hey, he's not going to have that good of a game. So I can get behind that. 6.5 for a fantasy score is clearly a little bit too high. So you guys can see we're 4 prop bets in. I don't love any of them. At the same time, they're not any that I would specifically stay away from. This next one, the next two are definitely interesting. Tyler Algier, for what it's worth. I do think they're going to give Bijan Robinson a little bit more work in this game. So yeah, I'd kind of be fine betting Tyler Algier for under the fantasy score. With Tyler Algier, it's literally just, is he going to score a touchdown or not? That's the biggest difference there. Now, last week I said that, and he popped off like a big catch right away. I doubt that's going to happen. This one with Romeo Doubs is certainly going to be interesting, guys. You can see the under is heavily favored at 9.5 for his fantasy score. I want to make that clear. But at 8, this is seemingly going to be a pretty big edge. And just as an FYI, we're not getting a full allotment of the props that we typically would at this time. That's kind of why I've been waiting to do this video. And I think that's simply because we're waiting on a bunch of news for a bunch of teams. Like for the Packers specifically, we need to get news on if Jaden Reed is going to play. He's currently questionable, left last game. If he's out, that's going to leave a lot of targets. Christian Watson currently questionable. I personally don't think he's going to play, but if he does play, that kind of hurts Romeo Doubs. Then you got Wicks, who's been a stud. He is currently questionable as well. And so they actually called up Grant DeBose, who I kind of expect him to play. And it's kind of crazy, guys. You look at this long list of like playmakers, when Watson went down, it was Dobbs for the first, and then Reed slowly started to work his way in there. And then Watson came back and looked like the stud. And then during that time period, Wicks started to step up and look like the stud. And then when Wicks got injured again, Jaden Reed stepped up. And now we have Bo Melton stepping up, and Malik Heath has stepped up in that presence as well. Now watch it be Grant DeBose, who, they all look good in the preseason. And so it wouldn't be shocking, but all in all, that leads me to the point of it does feel like it should be a Romeo Doubs game. If you guys watched that game, it was a primetime game. I'm assuming most of you guys did. You saw him just miss coming down with 2 catches where he just couldn't corral it into his body. He made the catch and then just couldn't complete the process. So, you give him one of those catches, he does get his over fantasy score at 8. And so it's not terrible, but one that I feel like we'd be forcing in. And then from there, yeah, the board does start to get pretty limited pretty fast right there. I don't mind Jordan Love for over 22.5 for pass completions. I think that's a fine one there. We're getting TJ Edwards 6.5 tackles and assists. Like, we're getting okay props, but all in all, not too many that I think we need to be gung-ho about. Let's jump into underdog, seeing if we're getting better prop bets there. Oh, and for what it's worth, guys, if you guys want to take a peek at the Demons and Goblins props that we have, that's on a separate tab for PrizePicks. So click on that. You guys can see if you guys are 9 to 5 members. So again, it does seem like it's going to be a much better slate for underdog. Let me just take off the Saturday game. I see JT's pulling in there. And so, yeah, I like the fact that like right away we are instantly getting a stack. That makes sense. Brandon Cooks, Dak Prescott, and Jake Ferguson for over their fantasy score. I like that a decent amount. We got Mike Evans for under his fantasy score. We are getting some pretty big edges here, it seems like. Another big one, guys, here. Jordan Love, over 17 for a fantasy score here. Obviously, he tore up the Bears in week 1. That is a season ago, pretty much. I don't think we care about that. The Bears have gotten much better on defense. The Packers have stopped shooting themselves in the foot. I mean, they played well in that game against the Bears, the first game, but their biggest concern is how many times are they going to shoot themselves in the foot. So I don't think we need to worry about that. So all in all, though, this is still like a 1.5 point difference. Like, this is by far a very good bet on underdog. We can see he's projected to get 18. So that's a very big edge that we were getting. Rashad White, anytime touchdown, has been there this whole week. That's by all means a good prop bet that we're getting. Taylor Heineke under fantasy score, I'm fine with. He has been someone that has struggled. Derek Carr in fantasy score, I'd kind of be fine with as well. And then we're getting to the prop bets that were popping up on PrizePicks as good bets. And so that to me is where we are seemingly getting a better edge on underdog. Here's another example of it. Underdog, 5.5 kicking points for Nick Folk. We can see PrizePicks has already went and bumped it. So again, it does seem like a better slate for underdog. And I know it seems like I've been hyping up underdog a lot, and I don't want this to sound like I'm pushing underdog to you guys. It's just the way that the board has been. And so again, I don't want it to sound like I'm pushing underdog because I'm really not. But if you guys do sign up to Underdog, use the promo code 9to5. If you guys have never used it, use the promo code 9to5. That's just a way to help out the channel, give you a 100% match on a deposit of up to $100. Again, the whole reason why I don't have a partnership with PrizePicks is because that's the sportsbook that I cover the most on this channel. So I don't want my takes or information that I give you guys to come off as biased. That's the whole reason I don't do that. So again, I don't want it to seem like I'm steering you towards underdog. At the same time, that is the way to help. So let's go ahead and get into the bets. Well, I'll show you guys the EV only right now for both sites. And so EV only is going to be taking in literally just that. It's not going to have any fantasy score. It's going to be exactly where the lines match up. So if you guys are watching this Saturday night, Sunday morning, and some of these are still there, by all means, you can go for them. I just want to show you guys that before I close the video out. And so there we go. We can see maybe some slight edges, mostly in hockey here. So yeah, definitely interesting there. But now let's go ahead and get into the bets. All right, so running out a 5 slip insured bet on underdog. I do like the stacking opportunity with Dak and also Jake Ferguson. The issue is that is going to shift your payout. So if you guys don't like that aspect of it, You can definitely adjust. Maybe you only do a 3 slip bet and whatnot. You can kind of figure that out for yourself. Looking at right now, Jordan Love over fantasy score, we saw that as a clear outlier compared to PrizePicks, where they have the line set at 18.5. That's a very big edge that we were getting there. And then Rashad White, I went with for over 1 touchdown to get a touchdown, instead of Mike Evans for under fantasy score, which was the next best prop bet that was popping up. I personally feel better about White getting a touchdown against Carolina than I do Evans, who the Panthers have been a good pass defense, or at least good at being so bad against the run that teams choose not to throw the football too much against them. But no, they haven't been a bad pass defense by any means. So I do expect Evans to maybe not have as good of a game. So all in all, I'd be fine with that one as well. The biggest issue that I have with the Cowboys is maybe they get up early in that game against Washington, and maybe their players play a limited amount of snaps. That's definitely a concern. And so this is a stack that I think is pretty correlated here. These two are ones that I personally like. If you guys don't want to run these out, the data did not pull these up, okay? But the reason I got to these ones is, one, Greg Dortch has been playing a lot. If you look at his past 5 games, he only hasn't gotten the over once. Kyler Murray looks good. This team is trying to win as well. They don't really care. That they want to set the tone for next season, which, a football fan, I love. And then if you look at these two, the way I think that these logically make sense is if Kenneth Walker is having a good game, if they are rushing the football a little bit more, thus that's going to mean Seattle's playing with the lead. These two players would most likely not get their over fantasy score. Thus, the Cardinals are going to have to throw the football. I think that makes some correlated sense there. If you guys don't, again, you don't have to run that out. And then just another little stack here: Drake London, Kyle Pitts. Guys, I'm not going to lie, I don't love the bets that we have today. Like, it's kind of ugly trusting Drake London and Kyle Pitts. It's kind of ugly trusting the Cowboys, honestly, as well. So as it sits right now, with the limited NFL board that we have right now, like we typically don't have at this time, I'm not going to be putting in as many bets. So be on the lookout during tomorrow's videos, just the overall prop coverage video, because I'm going to be highlighting all the best bets that we have on. But that is going to be all for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to give a like and subscribe. If you guys want access to the 9to5 Sports PrizePicks and Underdog cheat sheets, they are available for just $10 a month. Thank you guys for watching. Let's have a good slate. And as always, let's keep cashing.